We will get into our tips for round 16, and finally we are back to a full round of tips. So 9 games this weekend, of course. Starting on Friday night, we have the Lions up against the Demons. I have gone the Lions. On Saturday, I have gone the Bulldogs over North Melbourne, the Swans over the Dockers, Collingwood over the Gold Coast Suns. On Saturday night, I have gone the Crows over the Giants and the Bombers over the Cats. And on Sunday, I have gone Port Adelaide over St Kilda, Carlton over Richmond, and in the final game, I have gone Hawthorn over the West Coast Eagles. What are you going with this week?
So, Friday night, I've went the Lions over the Demons, the Dogs over North Melbourne to start Saturday, Swans over the Dockers, Collingwood over the Suns. Saturday night, I've picked the Giants over the Crows, Geelong over Essendon, Port Adelaide over St Kilda, Carlton over Richmond, and to finish the round, Hawthorn over West Coast.
Cool. All right, so we've got, I think, 1 or 2 different this week. So first we'll start with the Swans game. I think this is a big game for both teams. I think Fremantle can definitely stop them on attacking football. And I think it's just I think this big game is going to be on the factor of consistency from Fremantle side. We've seen a lot of their ups and downs this year. They've been able to have some really big performances against some teams and then just drop off the face of the earth like against the Bulldogs a couple of weeks ago.
Yeah.
I think Fremantle can give Sydney a real shake here. Again, I feel like everyone's just trying to pick when the Swans are going to drop a game. I've tipped them and you've tipped them this week. I don't think it'll be this week, but I think there's every chance that Fremantle could be the team to knock them off.
Yeah.
They're going to have to beat Sydney's midfield though.
Yeah.
And then have to defend gallantly.
They don't. Freo don't tend to do it week in, week out.
Yeah.
Their midfield.
I think their midfield matches up really nicely against the Swans. I think Hayden Young's definitely that sort of bursting player. You know, the grunt work from Sarong and Brayshaw. I think that can definitely work. Maybe their second string midfielders really aren't the best. Like, you know, Fife's obviously a long way past it now. Matt Johnson's probably a year or 2 off being his best. I think James Jordan will probably go to Jordan Clark again. That's what he did last time. He'll shut him down. That's probably where I'm looking at it. Alex Pearce, if he is out, I think it's going to be very hard to see Fremantle winning this game.
I think that's the game. I think that's the player that, if they've got any chance of winning Freo, he has to play.
Yeah.
If he doesn't play, there's no hope for him.
Yeah, I feel like that. We said it earlier in the podcast, but Alex Pearce being out would mean that even though Sydney don't have the most potent tall forward line, without him it being the general down there, they may be a little bit out of sync, which may be the big issue in that game. So I understand that. So one of the differences we had was the Crows over the Giants. I've picked the Crows on the fact that it's at Adelaide Oval. I know they haven't had the best record there this year, but the major reason why I've picked them is the Giants, I feel like, are just a bit off at the moment. And the Crows simply have to respond. I feel like they get Taylor Walker back this week. It looks like the Giants will probably get back Sam Taylor for their sake.
Yeah.
But I think that Taylor Walker just gives them something a little bit extra. That does mean that the best defender of the Giants has to go to Walker, which means that Fogarty probably gets away. I feel like, though, the Crows, they had a response in the first half against the Swans last match. But in the end, they fell off. I feel like against a team that's like the Giants, who aren't in as good a form as the Swans, obviously, I feel like if they can get a good performance out of their better players, like Rory Laird had a pretty down year. Rankin coming back in the first half and a bit was very good for the Crows. If he can play well, if Dawson can have another good game, he had a very good first 3 quarters against the Swans, then kind of tapered off when they went off. If they can do that, I feel like the Crows will have a more potent forward line. Their midfield does have to respond. And I think the Crows' defence this year has actually been really good. So I think they can stand up against the Giants' forwards.
Yeah. I think the Giants win. I think Toby Bedford is a big player in this game as a tagger. I think he'll go to Dawson. I'm pretty sure he'll go to Dawson. I would be surprised.
Do you think that Dawson's a bit more of a bigger body, though? Because I think that last week he went against Chad Warner, and Chad Warner kind of rode him around a bit in the second half.
Yeah, but
I think if Bedford does go to someone, he probably goes to maybe I wouldn't say Laird, but maybe Rankin if he goes to someone, which I mean is definitely a good option for him.
Yeah, but
he has to kick goals against him too, and if Rankin takes him forward, it's going to be
that's the thing. I don't think that's. I think the better option is Dawson, and that's. I think like you said, Sam Taylor should be back. Jack Buckley, I think, will take Taylor Walker, and they'll match up well with Fogarty on Taylor. I think that their defence will hold up a bit better on the Crows forwards.
The last game I want to take a look at was the Cats up against the Bombers. So you've picked the Cats, Is that right? I've picked the Bombers. Why do you pick the Cats?
Well, for one thing, they have a shithouse record against the Cats. They have won like the last 6.
This is a different Bombers team, though.
Yes, but also, I think that Geelong were a bit sluggish off the bye. I just can't trust Essendon yet because they haven't beaten a big side. I just don't trust them yet. And on the big stages of the MCG, Saturday night, prime time, I think Geelong could actually show something.
With Dangerfield being out, though, do you think they're still going to be okay in the midfield? Because Essendon's midfield does stack up. If Geelong are any chance, they're going to have to at least be even in the midfield.
I think they're bringing Conway because Sam De Koning just isn't a ruckman.
Yeah.
And they can't afford to do that against Draper or Todd Goldstein, whoever it is.
Yeah.
Even if it is both. Tom De Koning just dominated.
Yeah.
They can't afford Sam De Koning to go in the ruck.
They can make him a second ruck, I don't mind that, but they can't make him a first ruck like they tried to last week. I think that was just throwing him in the deep end and just wasted it, really.
Yeah.
But yeah. On the Essendon side, I just think they're in really good form at the moment. Haven't played a lot of big sides, but they have played well. And I mean, they can only beat the teams that are in front of them. My thought about it. Zach Merritt is one of the best players in the comp right now. I mean, obviously he's always been, but he's doing a lot more with it now. Like I think I said last week in the review, he had 5 direct goal assists. Yeah. He's using the football. He's involved in most goals for them, and I think that Geelong really don't have anyone to go with him. Yeah. So I think he's going to dominate. I feel like the midfield battle, Essendon win pretty comfortably, and the Cats last week against Carlton's midfield got smashed. Essendon's probably isn't as good, maybe. Like if you're ranking them, you say Carlton's like top. Essendon's probably a couple of rungs down. I think that they're just tougher. Jai Caldwell's having a massive year as well. You know, they're just a lot more bigger bodies there. I feel like that's where Essendon's going to get the game won. So, of course, with that being said, guys, let's move on. We'll talk about the AFL tipping ladder, of course, for the comp this year. Of course, with the channel. Right now, I got 5 last week. I've dropped down to 6th. I don't think I was 6th last week. Yeah, I definitely wasn't sick last week. That's not good. Anyway, we do have a new leader. He is equal leader, and I think he's jumped in the lead before. Paul has jumped equal first with Brandon, both on 89 tips. They've definitely got a bit of a gap now. They're both 4 tips in front of third spot, which is 85 tips. You've jumped up a little bit. You're still in 8th, but you've jumped up a little bit more. You're 2 tips behind me, so you're coming.
Yeah. I think that now with 9 games, I think that you can jump the ladder pretty quickly, but you can also go down pretty quickly.
Yeah, I think this is where it's going to separate now. I'm 6 tips off the pace. You are 8 tips off the pace from top spot. I feel like it's pretty much done.
I think it's a 2-horse
It's going to be hard now.
It's a 2-horse race.
Yeah, I think it's now Paul or Renan who's going to win it. Harvey was up there for a while, but he only got 3 last week and dropped right back down. He's just above me. I know he was nearly top for a couple of weeks ago, but yeah, he had a pretty poor week last week. He tipped Geelong against Carlton, which is I don't know why you'd do that. He picked North Melbourne against Melbourne, which was almost perfect pick.
That would have been nearly perfect.
Yeah, that would have been nearly perfect. But yeah, he also picked Port Adelaide against Brisbane, which I should have done
as well. Which I don't know why. You should have got sick. You should have got them all.
Yeah, I should have got them all. I'm pretty dumb.
I tipped the Giants. I thought that was a game that Sydney would drop. But obviously the Swans
keep on chugging along. Just keep on chugging along.
Yeah.
But guys, that is our tips for this week. Make sure to let us know down below if you think any differently, what your tips are for this week as well.